Okay, so today I'm just going to show you what I did on the envelope journal that I showed in the last video last week. Actually, I glued several envelopes together. Don't ask me how, because I have no idea what I did exactly. I never did that before. It was a little weird. As you can see, all the envelopes don't have the same size, so it was a little complicated. I wanted to try to recycle, envelopes, but finally I managed to do something with it. Obviously, the cover is an envelope which finishes here. Do it as you feel it, I went with my instinct. I glued as it was coming from me naturally, and I ended up with that. So I continued on it because as it's something recycled and that I don't care much, it's envelopes which were meant anyway to go to the trash, so I didn't feel a kind of pressure to do it right and to do it well and to plan what I was going to do. I had absolutely no plan at all, and I thought, okay, I'm going to do things on it without thinking, just to relax. But I was already with stamps that I did in the last video. I will put the link to that video in the description box, so if you want to see the beginning of this journal. I started just with paint for the background, and on the last video I showed how to stamp on it. So I ended up with stamps. I had no idea what to do with them. That's why I'm going to show you what I did so far. It's not finished yet. So I had these stamps which are in purple, and I put some color. And what did I use here? Yes, I think that I use this one. So it's oil pastels, but the great advantage is that they are water soluble. I absolutely love these pastels. They are not easy to unpack but great. I'm going to show you. So here is how they are. They seem very greasy, but as you put some water it becomes really smooth. Otherwise you can spread them with your finger. I adore them. It's not a sponsored video. I'm not doing advertising for them. I'm just telling you what I used and liked. This is what I did for the colors: pink, yellow, green, orange. It was coming from here. Here I didn't do much. It was already painted, but I added some pink color, a little darker pink here, which is actually this. It's a mix that I made a long time ago, and I still had some, and that is basically the color. I added it, but then I thought it was dry, but I closed my journal. I didn't realize that it was not completely dry, so it transferred a little on the blue, but I actually love it. So I'm very happy about my mistake. Here, that was a notepad in the shape of a dress, and there was this drawing on it, and I kept it and I glued it here, and then I added the face, the arms, and one leg, because we don't see the other leg because there is something glued on it. So I glued also this tissue paper, which is shabby chic. I don't remember where I bought it. I don't remember if it was at Target or at Michael's, but one or the other. Maybe they still have some, I don't know. I drew a little more on this. The little white dots, it's a Sharpie, an oil-based white Sharpie pen. Here you can see some a black pen. Yes, it's acrylic paint, and then I made the details with the black pen, and I added some white from the Sharpie too. Here I had this say, "The world is at your coffee shop." It wasn't advertising probably, but I like the sentence, so I glued it here. And I don't know if you see, but there is kind of a pearly effect. It's a paint that I have which is slightly pearly and changing of color. It's let me see if I find it. Yes, I found it. It's a golden interference blue. I don't know if it still exists because I bought that a very long time ago, but it never dried. It remained almost like new. As you can see, I didn't use much. The tube is almost like new. It's white with a blue tint in it, pearly, and the paint change, the color change according to how you move your paper, so that's why they call that interference. Interference, I don't know how we pronounce that. And that's what gives this kind of effect. I don't know if you catch it. Yeah, you see, as it's bluish when I move the paper, it comes from this paint. But you can use also some pearly white, it still exists. That was a tag on a Japanese object, and this is a stamp. Okay, I continue. So here I had these stamps, these silver stamps, and here I had these stamps. That was a heart that I made with a stamp, I think. That was stamps too. I just added the dots. I put some more color with the same oil pastels. I wrote relaxing work because it's what I was thinking while doing that. With a marker I did the blue here. This is also made with the same oil pastels. The silver were stamps, and I added the oil pastel, the pink oil pastel here, and there is a simple black pencil to precise the shapes. Oh, I just did that with the silver pen to continue like the other stamps. But you know, it's not finished. I did that without thinking. I just did it to relax. I had no idea what I was doing. I had no plan, I had no intention. It's just not to think but to do, you know, just do. So far I didn't do much here except putting a washi tape that I absolutely love, and I just put that. So here, that was the dark part, it was a stamp, and I added the colors that I made with, I think it's the same oil pastels too. And here too, I just added a washi tape here, see, with the white polka dots, and I just glued a vintage paper. Actually, it's not a vintage paper. It was a paper wrapping a soap that I bought at Anthropology. I loved so much the paper that I kept it and I glue it sometimes. So you see, as it's enveloped, sometimes I have pockets like that. From here I have an access to that window. I don't know if I will let it like that or if I will put something behind, maybe a message or something. This was actually not a stamp but a big stencil that I continued by drawing with my white Sharpie some oil pastels. I added the oil pastels here too. 3 stamps. I added the colors. So here, what is the color that I added? I think it was watercolors, but as you can see, it removed a part of the stamps. So here I continued with the oil pastels, and here, oh yes, I remember which one I used here. I used these ones, so I don't know if you will find them in the US because I bought them in France. It's Stabilo. So it's crayons, but they are water-based. I mean, if you put some water, it creates like watercolor. They are soluble too. I absolutely love these ones. I love them. I use them very often. And here so far, I just put some watercolor behind the stem. The stem didn't move because it was acrylics. I remember now. So watercolor, but here the gold, I'm going to show you what it is. You see, it's like a gold wax. Actually, it's that. Sennelier. So pastel, I will oil pastel, and the color is gold, pale gold, pale gold. You see how it is, it's beautiful. So Sennelier is a French brand, but you can find it in the US, but it's a very old French brand. I love what they do, especially the pigments are wonderful. So here it was a very vague stamp, badly done, but I precise it with some color. So in the background it's some watercolor, but here it's the oil pastel. Oil pastel here, it was a stamp, I just added the oil pastel. Here it was also a stamp, very badly done, so I used some watercolor. Talking about watercolor, I'm going to show you which one I used. I used this one, it's like that. It's actually for Chinese calligraphy or Chinese watercolor painting, but I absolutely love these ones. I have many watercolors, but I always come back to this one. That was a Sharpie pen, rose gold, white, silver. The background is watercolor, just the red. The red, how did I do the red? No, the red is the oil pastels too. And in the end, so we arrive at the end where there is a very badly done stamp. I just precised that flower, which is also made with the oil pastel that I showed you. And I glued a paper which was printed in the shabby chic style behind the window, so we can see it, but actually it's glued inside here. So here is what I did so far on it. As I continue, I will show you if there is something interesting to show, of course. And when it's completely done, I will show you it finished. But it's great because as it's not precious, I felt completely free to create without thinking, you know, instinctively, I would say. And it's very relaxing. I'm just going to show you what I used. So I used these oil pastels. I'm going to close now. I don't remember the price of that, but it was probably not very expensive because otherwise I wouldn't have bought them, or maybe I had a rebate on that. I don't know, I must check. So these are the watercolors that I showed you. This is the oil pastel. It is not water solid, it's really oily. This interference golden paint, that is a mix that I made. Don't look, it was some jam in it, but you see, you can make your own colors. If you have the primary colors, you can create your own colors, of course. I also used these things that you can certainly find in Europe, but in the US I don't know. Anyway, it's a Stabilo. I'm trying to see if there is a name on that. Stabilo Woody. It's crayons, but which reacts like watercolors. I mean, once you put some water, it acts like watercolors. I put them in a tin box because it protects them. I also have that, but I didn't use them for my journal. Same thing, I bought that in France. It's the Neo Art water soluble wax pastel. I love that, except that they are very flat and thick, and it's very difficult to do details with that, but to do wide surfaces it's very convenient. I also used that once again, so I don't know how we call that, those ones. My children had that and I used them. It's slightly oily, it's like pastels. Yes, it's a little like all pastels, but not very oily. Oh, I don't know if you know that I used that a little on the cheeks of the woman. It's decorating chalks. Obviously, I paid $14.50. There is a kind of sponge. There was a sponge here like for makeup, but with the heat everything was ruined, so I simply used a brush, bristles, but you see it's like dry pastels. You see? I love that. I didn't use much so far, but if you need to fix them, you can use a varnish for dry pastels as well. This, I didn't use them for that journal, but I use them all the time. It's Caran d'Ache Neo Color 2, and I use them exactly like the other ones, oil pastel. They are oily, they look oily, but they are water-based, and you can put some water and it becomes like watercolors. I really like that too, a lot. I'm going to try to find you the Sharpie that I had. Yes. This is the Sharpie. It's open, but I just kept the packaging so it protects it from the heat. But that is really good. I recommend this one. And that was the pencil, the black pencil that I used. I don't know if it's from the US or from France, I don't know, but any black pencil, as long as it's not too greasy. I mean, don't go too far to the B, stay more to the H. That is HH, so it's very rather dry, because if it's B, you can make your page dirty, you know, it's almost like charcoal. What did I use? Oh, also, yes, I used things like that. I absolutely love that. That I find that in the US. Tombow ABT. So it's like a brush on one side. So it's great to make wider surfaces. And on the other side you have that. And it's great to make the details. I have many colors like that. I love that. I love that. I use them all the time, but at a point they dry. I also used that for the blue details, so it's a jelly roll. You find that in the US. And I also used those ones, silver and rose gold. It's Sharpies, and they are great. I really love that. And I also used that silver. Same thing, it's like the blue one. Very good. What else? I think that I used something too. Basically, I gave you all the details. I wanted to film while working, but the point of working on that was to be relaxed. When I'm filming, I'm not feeling really relaxed, and I had no idea what I was going to do. I didn't know if I was going to work 5 minutes or 1 hour. Actually, I stayed maybe 2 hours on it, because I always find something to do, and you know, it's not like if I thought about it before. I was just seeing something and it came instinctively. When you don't know what to do, work like that. Just work to work, not to think, not to do something very intellectual, just to relax, you know, and to have fun. I don't know what I'm going to put there, but just a page like that, I already love it. Anyway, I hope you liked to see what I did so far, and of course I will see you very soon. See you very soon. Bye bye. Bye bye.